Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
In the right place, at the right time, with the right folks. We're going to do a song you haven't sung in decades.
Oh, good.
Well, with a twist. You'll get it right away. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole wide world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. Let's do the first one again. You see, it's International Woman Day today, so we're gonna switch things around a little bit. Here we go. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole wide world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. The little bitty babies, they got the little bitty babies in our hands. We got the little bitty babies in our hands. We got the little bitty babies in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. You and me, brother, you and me, sister. We got you and me, brother, in our hands. We got you and me, sister, in our hands. We got each and every other in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole wide world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. So, you know, this sounds simple, and it makes a lot of sense. Why do we have so much trouble with the concept of having the whole world in our hands? What's going on here? We got our beautiful planet. We got our beautiful planet in our hands. We got our beautiful planet in our hands. We got our irreplaceable planet in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. Here we go. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole wide world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands. We got the whole world in our hands.
And we're finished. That was amazing. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
So nice to see you here. Yay. So I had to do the announcements this morning, and of course, first, welcoming Robert. It gets our spirits rocking. So, then the second thing that I have to tell you today is that we do have a meditation right after service today. And this is by our own Lori Lee, practitioner. And she is going to be with us in our community to help us move through the transitions that we have facing us in the next while, however long that takes. And she comes to us with an amazing amount of meditation experience. I'll wait just a sec, so I don't. There we go. Lori Lee, she actually works in the prisons, working with individuals in the prison in the prison system in Boulder Valley, working with individuals who can very much benefit from that meditation practice, that centering and that quieting. Next thing that we have, so I hope you can stay. even though it is your birthday, Jim. Our outreach from March is continuing with Sister Carmen. And at the back, on the table in the entrance there is a list of things. I'm not going to read it to you because they are in need of so much support. And so this gives you some ideas. And also cash is good. Definitely. We have our inspirational movie night coming up on Wednesday, March 11th. And that is called Noise. Interesting topic, an interesting title. So I'm anxious to hear about that. Next Sunday is Reverend Leah's last day. So, one moment. She's going to be doing a ceremony ritual with us rather than just a regular service, the way that we ordinarily do it. Stop it. And so her topic is going to be Wings to Fly on the next step of her journey. So, thank you. So our next spiritual gathering, that Jay is an amazing facilitator pulling things together, is the spiritual metaphors arising from physics. I love the spiritual aspect being combined with science because that's who we are as religious scientists. And how cool to be able to step in and lean into it with more information. So that always happens on the third Thursday.
Jay's going to be speaking.
Oh, and you are speaking.
No,
Not?
no, he looks a lot like me.
You have a doppelganger? Oh, that is really cool. So this is my driving presentations and spirit enriching topics every month. And so it's not going to be Jay, but it's going to be Jay.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing on our agenda to let you know about is, I know that Eamon has been here, Eamon Duffy has been here, and he is doing his, the New Thought Men's Gathering. And even though the date up there says it's closed at March 6th, James let me know today that he is extending that date. And so please, if you're interested, personally, I know Eamon from doing some different workshops with him, and he is just a truly grounded, amazing, balanced human being. And he comes with a lot of spirit and heart. And so I encourage you, if you're a guy, not to be exclusive, but if you're a guy and you'd like to deepen your spirituality, please check this out. And then in this moment, I'm going to turn it back over to Leah because of the current issues.
I just want to bring to our attention, so just to be safe, not to be in fear about what's happening right now with the coronavirus, but as a community, we just need to be aware of some things. And so this was given to me by another spiritual center. It's in the lobby, and just some things to be aware of. Some people may not be comfortable holding hands. And we do a lot of hand holding and a lot of hugging here. And so it's probably good to ask, can I hug you? This morning I did not honor that, I'm hugging everybody, but it's just a habit, it's hard not to. And we held hands in prayer, but maybe we can lock arms instead, I don't know, or we could do a namaste bow, there's ways in which we can acknowledge someone and say hello without giving hugs, and so just to be sensitive to that. And on the back of this, there's a beautiful affirmative prayer around health and wellness. Wellness? Wellness, yes. That's an interesting way to pray. Okay. Yeah, and I also want to mention, so Barbara, our lovely Barbara Babcock, went to go buy hand sanitizer for the center, and there was nothing. There weren't even bottles or anything. So she made it from scratch. And there's a bottle of it in the lobby, and she has recipes there as well. So please enjoy that, and just be safe. Okay? All right.
I was at an event yesterday and they said to do this, to say hello. Well, this is the American Sign Language. Yeah, jazz hands. So we can all do that now, and I feel like I have a huge applause. Thank you. So speaking of thank yous, everybody who is here today, whether in consciousness. Our lovely Kathy is in consciousness for us today. Our music, setting up chairs, making coffee, greeting, and making sure that we can all be here and be here. So thank you for everybody who set up, who are welcoming, getting things organized. There's an overused term, but it takes a village. And it really truly does take a village, and this takes people coming together. So thank you. Thank you for all of that. So, I invite you now, if you feel comfortable, to cross your legs, put your feet on the ground, shake out your shoulders. Nice deep breath. Allowing everything that came before this moment to be released, knowing that you can pick it up at any time. And just be settled here now. And if you feel comfortable taking a nice deep breath, allowing that breath to take you into that place where there is only love, only light, only compassion and peace. And it's from that place that we step into this service today with joy, with anticipation, with love, with light. Knowing that every word that is spoken is divinely ordained. And that our moments here together in community, with connection, is divinely ordained. For we, each one of us, is simply an expression of the divine. An expression of love, connection, peace, harmony. And as we move through this day, this service and this day, knowing that as concentric circles move out and expand, that's how we are, that our circles expands and moves and touches places and beings we don't have any comprehension of. And so it is in this moment that I bless our time together, knowing that all is so well. And I affirm this and invite you to affirm this with me by saying, and so it is.
After me. You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
I hold you in my heart.
I hold you in my heart.
You are a part of me.
You are a part of me.
You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
Really simple song. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You don't take anything with you else today. Take that with you. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. He's going to help me out with this. So I can play the guitar. You are the face of God. Is that a great sign for us? God coming into our consciousness. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. Let's do that with the signs. You are the face.
face of God.
I hold you in my
I hold you in my heart.
You are a part of me.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Oh, man, you should see you from up here. Let's do that again.
You are the face of God.
I hold you in my heart.
I hold you in my heart.
You are a part of me.
You are a part of me.
You are the face.
You are the face of God.
Turn and sing that to somebody. You can use us up here if you think the other part is. Yeah, threes are good. That's fine. Here we go.
You are the face of God.
Look at those faces.
I hold you in my heart.
Oh, you are a part of me.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Okay, that was easy. Now turn somebody else.
Sure. Give.
Two's good. Whatever, here we go.
You are the face of God.
You certainly are. I hold you.
I hold you in my heart.
You are a part of me.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Turn to the front and we'll just use sign. You are a part of me.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Right? Oh, my goodness. Join with me, if you will, please, with our purpose of being here. Celebrating divinity,
Embracing humanity and creating community.
and our mission, providing
Tools and support to awaken our community to its spiritual magnificence.
and our vision.
Inspiring and uplifting every one of us to transform the world.
So I'd like to bring your attention to the candles that we have. Those flames are, and I was just telling Leah earlier, doesn't matter the size of your candle or the flame, it's just knowing that it's there. And knowing that it is here as a representation of that which is in each one of us. That flame of life, flame of love, the flame of companionship. And so even though we extinguish these candles, that light is never extinguished within us. And when we can come together, the light that we create is just spectacular. Thank you for being here. So the readings that I chose today are in support of Reverend Leah's talk about the divine feminine, which is, I think, probably planned given today is International Women's Day. So the first reading I have is from a Benedictine abbess and a Christian mystic, and her name is Saint Hildegard von Bingen. She says, "She is so bright and glorious that you cannot look at her face or her garments for the splendor with which she shines. For she is terrible with the terror of avenging lightning and gentle with the goodness of the bright sun. And both her terror and her greatness are incomprehensible to humans. But she is with everyone and in everyone, and is so beautiful. And it is her secret that no person can know her sweetness, with which she sustains people and spares them." Another author and editor, Suzanne Kingsbury, says, "The divine feminine is an energy that has been with us since ancient times. Consciousness has basically been divided into the masculine side and the feminine side, but we need both to achieve our highest and creative potential. The divine feminine is the aspect of the self that is associated with creation, intuition, community, and collaboration. The divine feminine represents the connection to the part of our consciousness responsible for nurture, intuition, empathy, regardless of your gender. Though on its surface a concept seems to play into the gender binary, but it is an energy that's available to anyone and everyone. People often think the divine feminine is only for women, but in fact everyone carries feminine and masculine wisdom and tools. And it's a powerful energy at that. By turning into our divine feminine energy, we build stronger relationships with colleagues, friends, significant others, and ourselves, which can all lead to personal and professional gains." And Sarah von Branach says, "It's a perfect moment to quietly meditate on the cosmic Great Mother who inspires us all. The divine feminine spirit of nurturance, known as the goddess, so revered in ancient times and being rediscovered today." And so now for our affirmation. Actually, I don't have one. Oh, that's okay. I can read it from up here as well. So what I would invite us to do is I will read it first and let that kind of sink in. Then we can share it together and then have a moment of quiet and just allow ourselves just to kind of think on that. Thank you, dear. Accepting and honoring the divine feminine within, I recognize my power to manifest, nurture, and create community. Say it with me if you will.
Accepting and honoring the divine feminine within, I recognize my power to manifest, nurture, and create community. We are one now.
So in that knowing of the oneness, and that love lives here, and that there is no outside, there is no other, that it all is one. The beautiful morning that we have today, the changing of the seasons, and yes, even the time change. It is all one. It is all divine. It is all spirit, God, energy, purposeful force. And so in this moment, I speak my word for this community, this beloved Centers for Spiritual Living Boulder Valley. This place that has one of the biggest hearts I've ever experienced. Connections that are deeply rooted in love and compassion and connection. And knowing in this moment that the path leading forward for our community, for each individualized expression of spirit, and for the movement forward as a whole. I bless this community. I bless the path that is laid up in front of us for us to follow. We are guided and we are guarded, as is the same for Reverend Leah, as we all move towards our greater and greater expression of that one: power, presence, love, light, laughter, joy. And it is in this moment that I'm so grateful to speak these words. Grateful to speak the words of truth for each person here, for our community and our center as we move forward. And as I release my word into the law, I know that it is already done, because the law always says, yes, my beloved, as you believe. And so
So it is.
So it is.
So a while back, my wife got invited to this really great women's retreat. It was Karen Crocker. In fact, they started doing them together after a while. So I said, I want to go. And she said, sadly, you can't go. But she generously let me read her notes after she was done. So I did what I do. I wrote a song about it. It's the God of sinners that we bless each day. It's the God of sinners, so we say namaste to the sacred mother. Our ancestors did pray. It's the God of sinners. We bless each day. These eternal rhythms keep calling us back home, flowing deep inside us, flesh and blood and skin and bone. There is just one river, there is but one sea.
Such a perfect song, such a perfect song. So, this whole month, we're honoring the Divine Feminine, and today the topic is our legacy, but I also am going to bring in a lot about the Divine Feminine, because I just think it's so needed. It's just so needed. So, first thing I want to do is talk about, is this on? Oh no, is the battery not working?
Change the battery.
We need your help, Ethan. Okay. So, speaking of our legacy, so legacy is about honoring something that's come before. And there are many women that have come before us as part of this movement, so I want to honor some of them. One of them is Emma Curtis Hopkins. So she was known as a mystic, she was known as a feminist, she was a writer, she was a teacher. In fact, she was called the teacher of teachers because she had such great influence on so many amazing beings that had such great influence in our lives, including our founder, Ernest Holmes. She was one of his teachers. And what I love about her in particular is I was doing some research for my talk, and I didn't know this about her, but she really was against the patriarchies of the past. She did not want to refer to God in any way as a male God. And she is, in every way she could, kept bringing in the mother, bringing in the mother, bringing in the mother. That was really, really important to her. And she was a student of Mary Baker Eddy. And Mary Baker Eddy was someone who, she founded Christian Science. So many of you probably are familiar with that. So Christian Science believes that it's all, our mind can heal. Our mind can heal whatever ailment we have. And she experienced that through her own life when she had a really bad fall on ice. She slipped on the ice and she was bedridden for many months, and she was studying the Bible and reading the Bible and believed that Jesus' teachings were not only effective for Jesus, but also could be effective for everyone. And she started practicing that, and she healed herself and then created Christian Science. And so you can see the influence of her leading to Emma Curtis Hopkins, leading to Ernest Holmes, and then also the Fillmores, who created Unity. They all came from this same lineage. They all came from these same teachers. And so I wanted to start my talk by honoring them, because we are all standing on the shoulders of these amazing, extraordinary women that had such an influence. This was in the 1800s, in the mid to late 1800s and the early 1900s. So what powerful, powerful women. This center also has been influenced by women. It was founded by a powerful woman by the name of Reverend Marcia Magdapower, who was my mentor during ministerial school. Many of you know her, amazing being. Followed by Alexandra Potash, followed by Reverend Jyoti, and then here I am. So also a group of women has founded and continues to bring this beautiful community forward. And I just want to honor Reverend Jyoti, because it was her who came up with our amazing tagline, "Love lives here," and it truly does. It truly does. Yeah, it's such a beautiful energy that this space has, that I think all can feel as you walk into this space. And so, what would you like the legacy of this center to be 30, 40, 50 years from now? As you look back, 50 years from now, none of us will be here. Maybe Ethan, I don't know. Ethan's the youngest one in the crowd, I think. Or Aaron, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, but what, so...
Keith Richards will be here.
Who was that?
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards, oh yes, right, yes, there are certain meetings, yes. No, we can probably guarantee that, yes. Yeah, so, you know, it's, what is the legacy that you want this community to have as we carry forward? This isn't an ending, it is a beginning. It truly is a beginning for this community. So I want to talk about women, as today is International Women's Day, and the history of women in general. Okay, went blank, not sure what happened there, there we go. So our culture and our history have been persecuted, millions of them. Many have been killed just simply by the fact that they were a woman. There was a time when tens of thousands of women were burned at the stake simply because they were women. They were accused of practicing black magic. They had 2 children and 1 child survived an illness and the other died. People assumed that they were practicing black magic and therefore killed them. And this went on for hundreds and hundreds of years. There was even, I heard recently that all the goddess temples in the 300s, every single goddess temple was destroyed because it was believed that what they practiced and who they were was wrong. They didn't believe in this male deity, they didn't believe in this male god. Their practices, these pagan rituals, which is merely just about connecting to the Divine Mother, connecting to the rocks and the trees and recognizing that divine intelligence that is contained in all things, they were considered strange, and that they could see God in all things, that was somehow unacceptable. And as we've evolved as spiritual beings, we can now recognize that a male God, as many of us have grown up with, actually doesn't exist. We are done with that. Yes, we are done with that. We are done with seeing it is a male figure sitting up on a throne looking down on us and judging us for who we are and for the way we live our lives. And so, it really, this masculine energy, though, certainly has permeated our society and our culture. And many still believe in that male deity. Many still believe in that masculine God. And it's okay, that's where they're at. And there is nothing wrong with that, but we know that there's something more than that. We absolutely know that. Years ago, I participated in a 2-year Celtic shamanic training, which was goddess spirituality, a Wiccan tradition. And as part of our training, every time we would go out into nature, and the teacher would have us sit against a tree and feel the energy of the tree. Taking the roots of our feet and going down into the earth and honoring that and feeling that and recognizing that. So all of our ceremony and rituals were all around honoring that Divine Mother. Honoring that. And we forget that. We forget that divinity, that feminine energy of the divine is contained in all things. It's contained in every rock. It's contained in every tree. And it is contained within us. It is within every single one of us. Another thing I did in LA, which was, I don't know how I found these things. Somehow I just found these groups of women and different things. And there was this woman, her name was Sharon McErlane. And she gathered a group of women together on a regular basis, and she would do these ceremonies. I was curious, so I went and checked it out. Here's her story, such an interesting story. She was walking along the beach one day, walking her dog, and all of a sudden she sees this group of elderly women standing around singing and laughing, and what was interesting about them is they were wearing costumes from another time. They were representing all races and religions, some Native American, some representing South America, some were Asian. I mean, and they were all these elderly women standing around singing, rejoicing, holding hands, and they beckoned her. They said, "Come, come." She was curious, so she went up to them. They surrounded her and began to sing and chant, and she was fascinated. And as they stood around her and she looked, she could see through them. And she didn't understand what was happening. She could see through them, and this woman walked past and said, "Hi, Sharon." And she's, "Hi." She realized that the woman saying hi to her could not see these women, only she could. And so she had this experience and thought, okay, it was just a dream. She went home. She didn't share it with her husband because she didn't want her husband to think she had lost her mind. And so she kind of kept it to herself for a while. But these women continue to show up. They call themselves the Great Council of the Grandmothers. And they continued to show up in her dreams and in her prayers and in her meditations. They showed up, and it was as if she could see them, as if it was a human being standing right in front of her. And they had a message for her. They said that our planet is if you can imagine a bull, the bull that, like a bullfighter fighting a bull, and the energy of a bull, and it's the steam is coming out of its nose, and it's digging its hooves into the ground, and it's about ready to just take off towards the bullfighter. You can picture that? What they said is that is what the planet, that's representing the planet right now. It is this aggressive masculine energy that is fighting and pushing against something. And what they said to her is the importance of bringing in the feminine energy in order to bring in the yin, in order to balance what is happening on the planet, and the importance of bringing that in. And that as women, we have the ability to do that. And so they continue to come to her, and they and speak to her and share these stories and these revelations. And this is one thing that they said. It is time for the world to return to the nurturance, love, and comfort of the mother. Conquest and aggression have been taken as far as they can go without destroying all life. Energy must now turn to supporting life with greater compassion, greater understanding, and to build wisdom rather than to accumulating knowledge. And so, this divine energy, as Claudia mentioned so beautifully in her readings, that divine energy is contained within all of us. We don't have to identify as a woman in order to express that, in order to experience that. Because truly, when we connect with the divine, it has a feminine energy. It's not a female, but it has a feminine energy. Because the gift of the feminine is receptive. The gift of the masculine is drive. We have to have both, don't we? We have to have both. If we sit in that divine feminine energy, it's receptive, it's love, it's light, it's nurturing, and all of that is beautiful. And we have all felt that in our meditations, in our prayer time, in nature, when we're quiet. And it's nice to hang out in that, but we also have to take action in our life. If we want to get something done, the drive comes in. That's where we're going to take action. So we need both. We need both. But the planet, as the Great Council of the Grandmothers talked about, the planet is so thirsty for this feminine energy. It is so thirsty for this magnificent light that is already here, that we then have the power to share and express in the world. Yeah. And so, when the planet is going through something challenging, we are at the beginning of some interesting times with the coronavirus as one. When we witness things also such as hate crimes and other violence that is taking place on the planet. And as caring, compassionate beings, we want so much to help. We want so much to be able to support and do something and be in action in some way. And absolutely, we can do that. We can stand on the front lines. We can join some social movement if we choose. But we can also express that feminine energy, that divine feminine that is within each of us by blessing, by sending that light out. And if you can imagine a net of light that extends from your heart, and it goes out and it connects to everyone in this community. And from here it goes out and connects to everyone in Lafayette, goes out and connects to everyone in Colorado, to everyone across this entire planet. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
Can you imagine a light? That is that divine feminine. That is that beauty and that light that is right here. It starts right here in our heart, and it goes out like a web, like a net, and it connects out to every being on this planet and blesses them. And we can do that. We can absolutely do that. And if you choose to step and be on the front lines, so be it. But there is so much power in connecting with that divine energy that is right here, always accessible, always available to us. That loving, nurturing presence is right here. What if we matched that aggressiveness that we witness in the world with love? What if we matched all the negativity that we witness with peace? With that nurturing embrace of the divine feminine that is always right here. We matched it simply by our intention, simply by sharing that from the center of our being. Whenever we are feeling anger, whenever we are feeling discord, whenever we are feeling disconnection, we stop, we take a breath, we connect into that net and that web of light that is right here, and we send that out. That is what's possible for us. It is possible, as Matt Kahn says, that our heart can be responsive without being reactive. Yes? That is our responsibility. And that by anchoring that divine feminine, we can do that. We can be responsive without being reactive. Where did my glasses go?
Behind you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and so as I was preparing this morning, I was reminded of this beautiful loving kindness meditation. This is in a frame at my house. And this to me represents the beauty of the divine feminine, because that feminine energy is so receptive, and it is such a loving presence that is within all of us. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a few phrases, and I invite you as I read them to just take them in deep within your heart and to know this truth deep within the center of your being. May the hearts of all beings be filled with happiness and peace, free from suffering and distress. But just really feel that. May all beings be safe and secure, free from fear and harm. May all beings be healthy and prosperous, free from pain, illness, and lack. And may all beings live joyfully and with ease, free from struggle and conflict. And so just feeling that in your being, just feeling that. Knowing as you feel that within you, you are anchoring that divine feminine. You are anchoring that light that God is, that has and contains that feminine energy. And know that as you experience and witness something challenging in your life, as you witness something in the news, as you witness something going on the planet, remember to bring yourself back to that very statement, and you can always affirm the opposite. You witness violence, may all beings know peace. You witness a health crisis, may all beings know health. You witness something challenging, whatever that is, affirm the opposite. May all beings know the love that is within the very center of their being. That is how we anchor this. That is how we nurture this divine presence. And it is available to every single one of us. Are you with me?
Yes.
So I invite you to practice that as you go out into your world, and remember that net of light, that net that is always connected in the center of your being. Sending that out, sending it to this beloved community, sending it out to all beings, blessing all beings. practitioners, I invite you to stand in high consciousness. And so right here, right now, I just recognize and hold the energy of that divine feminine, that nurturing embrace of the mother that surrounds us, that holds us, that receptive energy that every single one of us has, whether we are male or female or whether we are non-binary, however we identify, that energy is within us. And we have the power to share it. We have the power to share it in any moment. And that divine nurturing energy that is within us is always available, no matter who we are. And so I'm knowing that that energy blesses not only us, but as we go out into the world, it blesses everyone we come into contact with. Anyone we think about, it blesses them. Anyone we come into contact with in any way, shape, or form is blessed by who we are, is blessed by that nurturing presence. And so I know this and I speak this truth. And I hold this and know that as we do this, we bless the planet. We are a healing for this planet. Shifting the energy from yang to yin in a more balanced way so that a healing is taking place. We are part of that love revolution, as Matt Kahn talks about. That is who we are. And so I am knowing that we are that. We are part of that love. We are part of that light. We are that divine nurturing embrace. And so I give thanks for all that is occurring. I give thanks for all that is unfolding for each of us. As we recognize our power, as we recognize who we are and what we are standing in and what we are capable of. Letting go of fear, letting go of all that stands in the way of sharing our divine light. And so I release this and I allow it to be, and I just let this go, and I just say thank you Spirit, thank you Divine Mother, thank you Divine Light, thank you to all the beautiful women on this planet and all the energy of all that is being brought forth to be a healing. Thank you to all those we are standing on the shoulders of who have contributed to this movement and to this center. We say thank you, we honor you in deep reverence. And so it is.
So please help me out with the chorus for this song. Starts with the chorus. I'm not even going to tell you how it goes. Forget it. So, I invite you to snap your fingers or tap your toes. Clap your hands, or slap somebody. We are the ones that we've been waiting for.
We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones that we've been waiting for.
Oh yeah.
We are the ones that we've been waiting for.
We are the mothers who breathe with Mother Earth. We are the fathers blessed with a gentle strength. The sisters and brothers respected hand in hand. The sons and the daughters who walk upon this sacred land. And we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Yeah, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the healers who hear the voice of truth. wisdom guides our youth, the searchers and seekers, with wings spread to the sun, the shapers and builders, whose work for peace is never done. And we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Oh yeah, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We're givers of mercy, believers in grace, singers of great beauty, and keepers of the faith. We are the sailors who've come back through the storm. We are the dreamers resting in God's arms, the dancers and lovers who move beneath the stars, the masters and teachers whose visions remind us who we are. And we are the ones that we've been waiting for. That's us. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Right now, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Right here, we are the ones that we've been waiting for.
So happy you're here. Your songs are so heart-opening. Thank you. So it's now time in our service for our gifts and our offerings. Thank you all to what you give to this beloved community. We just honor you and thank you for all that you give, all that you give. So let's just place our offering on our heart. Ethan, if you could bring up the offering affirmation, it's coming. There it is. Let's say our offering affirmation together. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive, and so it is.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
So I am knowing that God gives us everything we need and more. This community is blessed with such abundance and prosperity and joy and love, and the divine feminine energy flows through us so magnificently, and so it is. So it is. Kids, we have kids. Yeah, kids. I saw them. They're right there. They're right there. We have one kid, one child.
So today we asked the question, where is God? And Teo knew, he said, where is it? Inside of us. So then we wrote our names, that represents us. And then we put stickers, all the things of God that's in us. So you have smart, fun, strong, loving, talented, unique, and caring. So what is this? Sledgehammer or a teeth? A sledgehammer.
Cool.
Nice job.
I love it. Two things in one. So if you're a first timer here, so grateful and so glad that you're here. not to say that, all the rest of us is, chocolate. No, but if you're here for the first time, welcome, thank you. We do have welcome packets out on the table, so please be sure to pick one up. And we do have a newsletter that comes out every couple of weeks, that if you choose to share in that, let us get your email address. Oh, and Robert has CDs out there too.
Is the goddess song on there? The goddess does.
There you go. I think you just sold a bunch.
Yes, babe.
So our Science of Mind is based on prayer. And so we, as practitioners, are here to support you in prayer. If you feel called to, come to the front after the service, and we will do a 2-minute miracle with you, an affirmative prayer. We also have a prayer box out in the hallway on the podium, thank you. You can fill out a card, drop it in the little box, and one of us will pray on it for you for the week. See if I've forgotten. Oh, hospitality. Thank you for being here. For anybody who brought snacks, because snacks are important.
My name's Lori, and I just wanted to let you know I brought in a HEPA filter that until this coronavirus says bye-bye, I'll leave it here, and I'll bring in another one in 2 weeks. And I'll also supply our beloved church with paper towels until this thing is gone. So,
Thank you.
I just want to say one thing too. So, as we mentioned, some of you may have missed it. So Lori is going to be leading us in a meditation after. So she has, how many years? 30 years meditation experience?
1990, yeah.
Okay. As Claudia said, she teaches this to the inmates at Boulder Jail. Just an amazing woman that has offered to lead us in meditation, and it's a special kind of meditation that's very healing and supportive to this community as this community is going through this change and transitionary time. So I will be here. We're going to do it right after service. So we're thinking 11:30 or so-ish, but we'll start to gather people up in here after the prayers are done and all of that. So it'll be for 30 minutes, okay?
Awesome. So, thank you for being here. And if you could stand, please, and either hook arms, whatever you're comfortable with, and we can say together the benediction. Okay, there we go. Are we settled? We're settled. I now walk
so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God. I now listen so that whoever speaks with me knows that I hear the voice of God. Whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness. For Spirit and I are one eternally, and so it is.